All praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Makar Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the nation of Israel. This is going to be a lesson going into when apocalyptic events, such as there's a particular term that people have in this world that's called SHTF, which is I believe when SHIT hits the fan, all right, which is pretty much like an apocalyptic event where society as we know it has crashed, right? And I was watching some videos about that kind of stuff yesterday, and I remember that there was a brother that put up a video about a movie called American Blackout, and I was trying to find it on the particular links that they put up, but it wasn't working. And then I saw today Apostle Gabar, Apostle Gabar from Great Millstone, he put up a video about an American Blackout movie as well, and then I tried to look it up, the movie, and he put the video up about an hour ago from the time that I'm doing this video now, maybe like an hour and a half ago, 2 hours at the most. He put up the video, and so I tried to click the link that he put in the video, and he saw the damn demons already took the video down, man. But then I ended up realizing that the particular movie that the first brother put up about the American Blackout movie, I was able to find on the TV at home anyway, so I've been able to find that movie now. It's on if brothers have it, it's on a particular TV app thing called Disney Plus, but you'll be able to find it on the internet anyway. And the movie's called The American Blackout, and I've watched about 6 minutes 53, and then I've decided to do this video just after what I've seen in 6 minutes 53 seconds of the video of the movie, because a lot of women are going to be catching hell, man, when stuff like this goes down. And I'm going to read a scripture, then I'm going to go back into the lesson. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands, right? And when it comes to people fighting and swords being in hands, this is not a time when women flourish, man. It's a time where women stay in the corner, man, right, and back off. Women like to run their mouth and they want to try and talk all this equality stuff all the time, right? Well, if you're truly equal, right, there wouldn't be no such thing as domestic violence against women. There wouldn't be no such thing as domestic violence in general, right? It would just be you was trying to talk reckless, so you got your ass kicked. That's what it would be. It would be that you lost the fight whenever a man does something to a woman. It would be that you lost the fight then. It wouldn't be no violence against women. It would be you lost the fight. That's what it would be. When people are equals and one person and they have a fight against each other, it's not no violence against this person or violence against that person. It's both people had a fight and they lost. One person's a winner and the other person's a loser. But when it comes time to where these swords are going to be in their hands and violence against another, women don't flourish in times like this, man. Right? I've saw many videos on the internet where there's like female police officers trying to take down men, and they can't do it, man. And there's one in particular that springs to mind right now, by where these 2 police officers trying to take down some man, and he's literally in ice skates on ice, and they still can't take him to the floor, man. And he's not even resisting really. He's just like keeping his body stiff and not even trying to attack him or nothing like that. And they still can't take him down, man. They're struggling and having a horrible time trying to take him down, and they can't do it, man. They literally cannot do it. Let me carry on reading. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And there's a particular scene, man. It's to me, it's a hilarious scene, man. People might say, "Oh, now how you find that scene funny?" But it's a particular scene from the movie Purge, right? And there's a particular character, some Mexican guy, man, called Diego in the movie, right? And in this scene, he kicks open, he like shoots off the woman's door hinge, right? And he walks into their house, and he's got a t-shirt, he's got a button-up t-shirt, right? But he ain't got no buttons done up in the movie scene, right? This scene's funny, man. Like brothers probably know. Some brothers might know what scene I'm talking about, but he comes into the house, he whistles, and he says like asking if the two women are in, if the woman's in there or whatever, and then he lets her know really why he's doing why he's about to try and attempt what he's gonna do, and he says that every day she walks past him, pretty much like he ain't. I'll just say the word, man. Every day she walks past him, like he ain't shit, and he's like, don't you have to be nice to people in this society, because if not, this is what happens tonight, right? And he's about to do some reckless business in the house, but then he ends up getting killed, right? But that's a movie. In real life, it's horrible what would actually happen. But that's why women are gonna get judged in this world before being wicked, man. Because as it stands right now, women know that they have the power over men, and they take advantage of it, man. But all the things that I'm about to read right now are all the things that women enjoy most being taken away. Let me read it again. 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able. Women are the main ones loving to go on holidays, right? That's why they're doing all this madness to get flown out to Dubai, man. That's why they're prepared to go through that demonic ritual, right? To be human porta potties, right? Just so that they can go in Dubai and take a selfie drinking a mojito with their dumbass caption. Oh, you got to do the better things in life. Just live in it. Get like me. You know these dumb quotes that these Instagram people be putting up, man, all the time. They'll have a picture, right? And the caption ain't got nothing to do with the picture. Then woman might have her cleavage hanging out, but she'll be like, the caption might be a recipe for a smoothie or something like that, or a recipe for like some herbal remedy. Oh, add a bit of ginger and lime, but then if you look at the picture, it's her with her cleavage out, with that Instagram foot angle where one foot's in front of the other one, and they're tilted to the side to try and make the glutes look bigger. Verse 18, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid, and that includes women. And women are more proud than men. Because here it is, women cannot fight men and beat men up. Yet they're always running their mouth. Because they know that another man that's stronger than the man that they're running their mouth to is going to come and enact safety for them. Right? Whereas when men when men get into an altercation with another man, they know that there's no barrier of another man to guard them for the most part, unless it goes way too far. And a lot of you women, man, are gonna meet Diego or people like that character Diego in real life, man. You're gonna meet the character Diego from Purge in real life, and I might entitle this lesson that, man. A lot of you women are gonna meet Diego from Purge, or people of that kind in real life, man. Verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with a sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And you already know what women are going to do when things go bad. They're going to try and come with that fake humility, right? And they're going to be trying to soften up their voice. Oh, talking or trying to, oh, excuse me. Like, you know how fake they can get, man. They're going to try and do that fake ass BS and try and think they can try and manipulate a man's resources. But the men are going to be disgusted with them. Like I've looked up a lot of these women on this female prepper stuff, right? On this prepping belief, and they ain't gonna have what it takes, man. Because men ain't even gonna have what it takes with what Yahweh's gonna do in the earth. People are gonna be strong for a while, but eventually the weakness is gonna come. This is Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. In fact, verse 6. You know what? Verse 4. And these are the words that Yahweh spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith Yahweh, we've heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, and as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. So if the men are going to be like women, then the women are going to be like children. So women that are going to be trying to run to men to try and look for safety they ain't gonna be able to find it from them, man. Because the men are gonna eventually realize that this stuff isn't ending. It's just gonna keep getting worse, especially if you're a heathen. If you're a heathen, this is gonna only keep getting worse and worse for you once this day of the Lord comes. Because after Yahweh Shai shows up in the midst of fire, when the world's already going off and going on crazy, right? So let me get a scripture to prove what I mean by me saying that. This is Luke chapter 12 and verse 51. Luke chapter 12 and verse 49. I'm come to send fire on the earth, and what will life it already be kindled? So Yahweh Shai is going to enter into the earth atmosphere on his second return, on his second coming, during the time where world wars happening, man. During the time of chaos. Yahweh Shai is going to want all the smoke with all you people, man. All you people are going to be fighting, bringing out your best weapons, and Yahweh Shai is going to enter while all of you people in the world are already warmed up, man. And he's going to be there, and he's going to be screaming out who wants it, man. And you people are going to come and try and fight him, and you're going to lose, man. You're all going to get your ass whooped in that day. And all you sellout women of the Israelites that wasn't believing in Yahweh Shai returning and was trusting in Esau, you're going to die along with him in that day. Because despite what a lot of you women might think, the Israelite man does not need you to have an Israelite child. You need an Israelite man to have an Israelite child. But an Israelite man does not need you to have a child. And I don't care if you want to cry or say that I'm misogynistic and all of this BS, right? Because a lot of you women are misandrists, if you even know what that means. If you even know. I found out about that word, misandry, about 10 plus, maybe about 10 or 8 years ago, man. And back then I realized that no women even knew what that word meant. It means the hatred of men. And a lot of you women hate men. And more importantly, you hate Yahweh, and you hate his son Yahweh Shai. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with a sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So there ain't just going to be an abundance of bread. So there ain't going to be no simps in that day, because there's not going to be loads of food around. So a man's not just going to be having a woman around him to just be saying, "Oh, I'll give you 12 loaves of bread for a good view of your feet, if you can show them what your toes look like what it is now." Men ain't going to be paying £1,000 for a jar, for what jar's worth of farts, like how people do this bug that stuff right now. Men ain't going to be sending $10.99 a month, right, for some images of you in a bikini that he could have found on Instagram. He ain't going to be doing that. He ain't going to be signing up to your OnlyFans in that day, because there ain't going to be no OnlyFans. He ain't going to be sending you a $500 super chat in that day. He ain't going to be leaving no simp comments like, "Oh, you're magical," with the heart emoji eyes. He ain't going to be doing that. Instead, he's going to see that you've got a loaf of bread and hit you upside the head with a rock and take your bread. And a lot of you women that think that you're preppers will well see, man. Because what a lot of people don't understand, man, is that even guys that do combat sports, man, there's a difference between boxing and fighting. There's a difference between MMA and fighting. There's a difference between what's that K1 pride fighting, where you're allowed to stomp on their face. There's even a difference between that and real fight. Because in a real fight, you can do anything to the person. And in a real fight, anything's involved. And in a real fight, it's not fair. And in a real fight, people are trying to survive. So even a tough guy doesn't become as tough when people can do anything. Because a jab, right, is not stronger than a hit with a baseball bat. And one man that's strong is potentially not stronger than two average men. 4 hands are better than 2 hands. So anyone that thinks that they're just like Joab in a reincarnation as well, they ain't going to have what it takes neither. And that's why brothers, like, people trying to, like, want to try to be pushing on the spirit of brothers to be being carnal and to be boasting in our skill that we might have in fighting and stuff like that. They're trying to put demons on us unknowingly some of the time. So they might not be judged for that. But if they're doing it knowingly, trying to make us think about being like high level in our might and glory in our might, it's not right, man. And we shouldn't glory in our might, man. And that's why sometimes we pick brothers that might have trained or whatever. They might say, you know what, I don't even want to train no more, because they understand that you can get pride from that. Just like how brothers that might have the ability to make money in the world will say, you know what, I'm going to try and tone down my spirit of making money, because I don't want to get proud from money. I don't want to glorify my money. Or if I do make the money, then I'm just going to pass it off to brothers. Or brothers that might have a large amount of wisdom. When certain things get brought up that they might have a deep knowledge of, they'll just be like, you know what, I'm not even going to talk about it that much. I'm just going to let another brother speak. This is Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that there is none like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So Israelites are going to be saved out of this time, but every other nation is going to carry on receiving judgment further and further and further after this time. Because after the Israelites get rebuked in this time, we're never going to be doing nothing wrong ever again after this, which is a beautiful thing to know, man. Whereas the heathens are going to continually keep making mistakes, man. Even when we've let the foot off their neck after the slavery that we're going to put them in, they're still going to be under us, but they're still going to make mistakes because they ain't receiving a new covenant like we are. And I don't want to really talk on that topic too much, because I want to talk about the destruction that people are going to receive in this time, and I want to talk about that right now. And I haven't really watched that much of this movie, American Blackout, yet, but it looks like it's going to be a good movie, man. This is Amos chapter 5 verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of Yahweh. To what end is it for you? The day of Yahweh is darkness and not light. And I hear a lot of these Christians every now and again say stuff like, oh, we're gonna be taken out of the world before the great tribulation and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, have you people even read the scriptures? Because here it is, these Christians are actually thinking that they're going to escape out of seeing the judgment coming upon earth, and that's not what's going to happen, man. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 9. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. So it says that the tribulation is going to come, and after the tribulation, then Yahweh Shai is going to return. So what are these people that are thinking that they're going to escape before they see it really go off down here? They're stupid, man. Because they're going to be seeing it. They're going to be seeing it. They're going to be witnessing it. They're going to be taking a part in it. Especially these Christians that don't even know the true name of the Lord, and that have been saying that God's laws are done away with, right? In the time of chaos, if they stumble upon a factory of pork, right, they're gonna think that they've found that, and they've been starving for a few days. They're gonna be like, finally, we found some grub, and they're gonna chow down on that pork, right? And that's gonna cause them to get murked off, man. Whereas if a Hebrew Israelite stumbled upon a factory of pork, they ain't gonna eat that, and they might escape judgment because of understanding certain of God's laws. If there's a man with his woman there, right, and the woman's feeling the brother, that's a Hebrew Israelite, right? He'll say, you know what, I'm not dealing with that, and he'll move and won't commit adultery. Whereas a Christian will be like, well, I'm gonna deal with it. She don't like him. He because the law's done away with according to Christians, so he'll just do that sin and get judged for it. Like a lot of these people that are saying that the laws of God are done away with, they don't know what they're talking about, man. And through knowing God's laws in that time, even, right, it's gonna be a thing that can save your life. Understanding certain wisdoms of the Bible is gonna save your life, man. So scriptures like a soft answer turns away wrath. Proverbs 15 and 1. A soft answer turns away wrath. If you're in a situation where you can't win physically, it would make sense to not be popping off at the mouth. Whereas that's not a thing that women are used to doing, right? So women that have been running their mouth all the time now, a lot of men have witnessed it and took note of that. And just like that character Diego in the movie Purge, they've got a vendetta against a lot of these women that might be their neighbors, right? Might be the women that they work with or whatever. They got a lot of anger towards these women. But women have been going around doing this stuff to men, and they don't even understand how many men's lives they've ruined, man. They don't even understand how many men's lives they've ruined just by being alive and being around them and being themselves. They don't understand. And they'll get on a Kevin Samuels, when they used to get on Kevin Samuels' show, they'll get on a Fresh and Fit podcast, right? They'll have these street interviews where they're talking about dating dynamics and all of this, and they just spew out all their harlotry, right? They'll spew out all their whoredom and say whatever they're saying out their dumb mouths, just to let the world know that they're garbage. So in the day of the Lord's wrath, what's the use of a woman like that? There's not no use of them. They're useless. They'll be a burden before there be anything else. Here it is, you're trying to flee from, like, you might be trying to flee from a group of 5 cannibals, and you've got some woman trying to expect you to save her, when in the time now that we're living in right now, she was doing nothing but taking pictures of her ass on OnlyFans or on Instagram, and would have rather had an Instagram account than have you in the times that we're living in right now. Yet then when it comes time where the internet's gone, she'll try and pretend that she wasn't on that and be like, well, I like you. Save me, help. No, men are not going to save you and help you in that time. Save yourself. This is Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. They ain't going to be saying you got to be 6 feet tall, right? You've got to make at least 500,000 a year. They ain't going to be saying none of that. Whereas that's what they say now, right? But men are going to be having their standards in that day. She's got to be under 150 pounds. She's got to not be a hoe. She's got to have her real hair in her head. She's got to not have no eagle's talons for fingernails. She's got to not stink. She's got to have a face that doesn't look like a bumpy porridge with raisins in there, man. Her face ain't got to be lumpier, lump up and bump up. Men are going to be having that carnal disrespect that you women have in that day. You know? All the stuff that women say right now, to where if the guy does one thing wrong, she'll be running her mouth and saying he's oh nah, next, pineapple. You know? Men are going to be having their stuff to say against women. The women are going to be coming with that fake humility, and the men ain't going to be trying to hear that, man. Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1 again. In that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. And some of them ain't even going to have their own bread, man. And wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name. They ain't going to be asking for, what have you done for me lately? They ain't going to be saying, like, by where you taking me on a date? Oh, he's got to spend at least 1,000 on me and take me to Salt Bay. They ain't going to be saying that. Oh, he's got to take me on at least 3 dates before he gets some of this. They ain't going to be saying that, because they're going to have experienced situations where they was around those types of characters, like Diego from the movie Purge, like I'm going to say it again, like Diego from the movie Purge, where he comes into the house with no buttons done up on his button-up shirt, right, with a big-ass shotgun longer than my arm, right, and he's in their house up to no good. They ain't gonna. I find it funny, because a lot of women do not believe that this can happen, even though if you look it up in history, these things have happened. If you look up what happened to women in World War II, it's horrible what happened to them, man. It's horrible. It's evil what happened to them, and that's why even men that are wise are not thinking that they're just gonna turn into a He-Man. You know, We're not gonna turn into Ip Man 4 or Ip Man Donnie. We're not gonna turn into Donnie Yen from the movie Ip Man and just start beating up 100 black belts by ourselves. That's not real, man. That's in the movies. And when it was real, Yahweh's not dealing with that spirit, putting that kind of spirit on Israelites right now. He might in the time to come give us a few brothers spiritual power and give them certain strength to do certain things. But that's for them brothers, man. That's not so that he can save no woman and be no simp. That's so that he can get beamed up on a chariot ultimately. And we can't really. Like, the women need to stop being proud, man. Because the amount of videos that are getting made like this, it's gotta let you know. It should be putting your antennas up to realize, maybe this is a warning. You know, maybe this is something that I need to be thinking about over here. This is Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. So let's forget the women for a second, right? Because women are adults, bro. Children. It speaks about this time is going to be evil for children. Children are going to be dashed to pieces before the parents' eyes, man. So after someone's dashed a child to pieces before the parents' eyes, they don't give a damn about the parents. Because they've just harmed a life that's way more innocent, if I can even use that word, that's got way less sins than an adult. And people ain't going to care about the child, so how much more the adult, man? And the Bible says that women are more wicked than men. The Bible says all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. So the men are going to be getting punished for their wickedness, so then why can't the women get punished for theirs? Verse 12, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Whereas right now, a man viewed as like some rusty nails, bro. Or a man viewed as a blunt, rusty knife. He ain't viewed as nothing right now. Right? Women saying that an average man is this, an average man is that. If you was to listen to women, right, and you was to just hear them talk and not see them, you would assume that every single woman is just 10 out of 10, looking like Pam Grier, I believe that's her name, or looking like Halle Berry back when she was younger, or looking like a young Jennifer Lopez or a young Beyonce. And let me not even use none of those women. Let's use Judith from the Bible, having that kind of beauty, to where she can walk on a battlefield of men slaying each other with a sword, and the men see her beauty and stop fighting. She was so beautiful that men stopped fighting each other with swords to look at her. That's like something that you'd see on an anime movie or something, on an anime show or something like that, man. That kind of story. Isaiah 13 and verse 12 again, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. So men are going to be not be viewed as punks no more, man, in that time. A man that's just strong is going to be given more praise now. I'm giving more praise in that time. A man that might be wise, he might know how to tie knots and lock up doors or some kind of carnal stuff like that. But the ultimate man that's going to shine through all of these things is going to be a man that Yahweh's protecting from the heavenly realm. Those men have been given plot armor. And if you don't know what plot armor is basically where these characters cannot die. A character in a TV show or a movie cannot die because they're pivotal to the plot of the story. So no matter what situation they end up in, they kind of always know that they're going to escape out of it. And that's the elect. But the elect has got such great plot armor that even if they die, they still receive what their plan is for them to receive. And let me get that. I'm going to end the lesson after this. Because there's so much that can be said on how these women need to humble themselves. It's unbelievable. This is Romans chapter 8 and verse 38. For I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of our power, which is in Hamashiach Yahushai, our Lord. So there ain't going to be no women that are going to be able to make us fall. There ain't going to be no men that are carnal, that are going to be able to beat us up and take away our salvation. And even if they was to be able to take our lives on earth, they can't take away our life in the heavens. That we've got. They can't take away our heavenly tabernacle that we've got in the heavens. That's going to be given unto us to live on earth with. They ain't going to be able to do that. And I'm going to end the lesson there. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And shalom to the elected nation of Israel. Shalom.